But then for you guys actually have actual reindeer and actual, sleigh because that's like your normal mode of transportation anyway, right? So you just
Welcome, everyone. This is our Heroes Peak CW weekly recap for the week ending December 7th, 2019. It's almost the end of the year, and it's almost the start of CW's Crisis on Infinite Earths crossover. So this is the recap of the shows that will be the last before Crisis. I got with me James. Hey, James. How's it going?
hey, Mike's doing good, man. How are you?
All right, I'm doing good.
Nice.
Got a lot of snow here. I don't know about you guys down there, but
Yeah, snow's starting to melt away now. It's just getting whatever's left into an ice bank because our temperatures are dropping to like the low 30s, upper 20s.
yeah, that's the worst when it melts and then refreezes.
Yeah,
Right?
we were at my town's tree lighting ceremony this evening, and there was still some like snow in quotations left. So these kids were like ripping it out, and it was like ice chunks and tossing at each other. And I was like, "This is not safe. Why aren't any of these parents like monitoring this? This is not fluffy
Yeah.
snow. This is hard Caitlin Frost ice coming at you."
Right.
So it's not meant to be a role playing event. It's meant to be like a Christmas lighting tree ceremony.
We had our like every year. This town does a Santa Claus parade down the main street. And I think they did that like last weekend or the one before. They don't wait. Like we can't wait too long to do it because then everything's just the whole town's just covered in snow and ice, right? So it's not feasible.
Gotcha. But then for
So
you guys
got to do it
actually
when
have
it's
actual reindeer and actual, sleigh because that's like your normal mode of transportation anyway, right? So you just throw some decorations on your on your Uber and you're out there.
Yep.
Uber sleigh.
Pretty much when the dogs aren't running, right? So
Mush. Mush. You call an Uber? I'm like, holy cow.
oh
Remind me to tell you guys a story about the one time I accidentally ordered the wrong Uber. Apparently in New
yeah.
York there was an Uber bike option that I didn't realize was in my app. And I was hanging out with some friends,
Bike?
a couple of drinks, and I was like, oh, I gotta, go home. I'm in New York and I gotta go to Jersey. So
Uh-huh.
the lady shows up. She goes, you James ordered Uber? And I was like, yeah, I'm like, where are you? She has like a book bag and a bike helmet. And I'm like, did you park at Port Authority? She goes, no, I'm around the corner. And then we get around the corner, she's unfastening the belt from her bike from the fence. And I'm like, wait a minute,
Uh-huh.
I live in Jersey? She goes, wait, the app didn't tell me that. I was like, even if I live in Jersey, there's no way I ordered an Uber bike. And then I looked, but apparently it was that crazy time when they actually were offering Uber bikes in the city for those who live in the city.
So this is an actual I don't get it. It was an actual bicycle?
Yes, she
But how
biked
does that work?
and
She gives you the bike or you ride on her back
I
or
ride on her
how's that work?
back.
What?
True story. True
That
story.
can't be safe. How's Oh my gosh.
Once you
I would
realize
never do that.
she had to go to Jersey, she was like, "Yeah, I can't take this." I was like, "I don't. I mean, even if I was going down freaking Chinatown, I'm still not getting on this bike."
Yeah, right? God. No, but they still have city bikes there, right?
Yeah, they
You
have
can
city
rent.
bikes for one.
Yeah,
For you,
if I was going to do that, I would just rent one of those instead of calling an Uber bike.
yeah.
Like, I could pedal the damn thing myself. I don't need to hop on your back, yo.
So needless to say, I went back into the bar and told everybody the story, and they were laughing my ass off. And made sure that as I was punching in my actual Uber ride, I was doing it right.
Yeah, so here in town, we don't have public transportation. The town's growing tremendously, but we don't have, like, public buses or subway or anything. Like, we're too far north of Toronto, so what the town did was they made a deal with Uber.
Mm-hmm.
So our public transportation is actually Uber, and like if we need a ride to the train station, it's $3, and then the town pays for the
Oh
rest.
wow, that's a good deal.
Yeah,
And
so
that means you guys have
yeah, it's not
faith. The
bad.
government has faith in the Uber drivers, because that's a big thing here in at least the tri-state area. There's like situations where Uber drivers are not necessarily, fit to be, driving around people in public for whatever reason.
Well, now they started because a lot of people were using it, so they started limiting the amount of rides you can get per month now for
Gotcha.
that cost. Because people were just, I guess, taking advantage. But the thing is, too, they don't have enough drivers, so you're waiting for a while sometimes. And for the people who have to get to work, it's a
Mm.
little frustrating, right?
Oh well.
All right, let's start the show. So this week we actually had all four
Yep.
shows running new episodes, right? All right, let's start with Supergirl, the episode "The Wrath of Rama Khan." So Supergirl still fighting Leviathan, and Lena and her robot Hope were trying to launch their mind control project. In the end, I think Supergirl beat Leviathan, if I remember right, and he went back, and then like his bosses weren't happy. So and Lena's thing didn't work because the Martians. What's it? The
Oh
Martians
yes.
stopped them, and in the end,
Martian Manhunter's brother.
right. So they did something to negate the mind control effects, and then
Yes.
in the end, the cops came to arrest Lena, but but Hope, her android, took the blame, said it was all me. I'm the one who came up with all this. So they arrested her instead, right?
Yeah, she took a L for her. She kind of gave her the look
Mm-hmm.
like, there's only one thing that we can do, and then she gave her like a sly smile back, and then she said it was all me. I was behind the whole plan. She was a
Right.
hostage. But you glance over the fact that so in the last pod we talked about the fact that there's some of these subplots, and Supergirl to me was just totally trash and wasteless,
Yeah.
and they don't advance the main story of Kara and Lena and the other major parts of the series, but they
Yeah.
felt to keep focusing on the fact that Malefic, um, the brother of the Martian Manhunter, was trying to redeem himself. So when he
Yeah.
went and volunteered to help them combat the satellite weapon that Lena and Hope had, he did this psychic power thing. And then the moment came where it wasn't working, and they said, "Well, the only way it could work is if we like trust him and turn off all of our psychic emitters, and
Oh yeah.
he could
Right. Right.
he could go full power." So the first thing I'm thinking of, another case of lazy writing, but this is just absurd writing. It's like you want to prove your point that you feel
uh
like he could be trustworthy, he's gonna redeem himself, he won't turn evil. So you purposely wrote in the story a means of, in order for him to save the day, you have to now trust in him and turn off all your security so that he can go full, anime mode and Goku and be able to do what he need to do. Then they started throwing out. And me, I'm an engineer by trade, so when I heard 50
mhm.
petawatts, and I'm like, that's like that's like a third of all the power on Earth. Like, if he's doing that, then there should be EMP released throughout half of the globe. So it's like these guys don't even care about science. Forget about they don't care about a creative narrative and getting everybody involved. Now they're just throwing everything out the window. He's like, yeah, he's gonna sit in that chair, and he's gonna, as long as everybody trusts in him and turn off their security guards, he's gonna shoot the equivalent of like one third of Earth's power up at her satellite, and then saves the day. That's just
Yeah.
terrible. Let's be
Right.
honest.
I know, but it is what it is, right? So at our still, it's still like I don't know what happens after Crisis, so I don't know where they go with all this stuff. Like they didn't resolve everything. I mean, the Martians are they're brothers again. You know, they've resolved their issues, and I don't know what's happening with Lena after Crisis and the Leviathan, right?
So I looked
So
into this. I think there's something like another 10 plus episodes after Crisis. So it may just be, and I'm speculating, like these first, what was it, 7, 8 episodes we've been watching was just fodder to get to Crisis. they're still going to have the issue with Lena and Kara, which is
Mm-hmm.
really the main issue of this season, the trust between the two of them, the betrayal. This Leviathan thing to me was just like
Right.
noise.
Yeah.
Um, what's her name? The lyric hacker, Andrea, noise. They barely got into any storyline with Kara and her girlfriend, so that was like not even noise. That's like a blip. Um, Martian Manhunter and his brother, noise. So in reality, if it wasn't, really addressing Kara and Lena, it was just
Yeah.
fodder to get us to the point of Crisis. And then after Crisis, whatever comes out of it, we'll really move this series to what the true issue, I guess, the writers and the producers are
Yeah.
helming the season with, and which I don't really know. I don't think that this is whatever we've been watching so far. I don't think really is what they want to advance as far as Supergirl season 5 is concerned. I think it's just to get us to Crisis.
Right. And the thing is too, after Crisis, well, because Lex is back for Crisis, so we don't know if he's gonna stay back, if he's gonna die again, if Lena's gonna make
Yeah, I mean,
it. You know what I
if they
mean?
were to keep him after
So
Crisis, then that's going to really hurt the whole Lena and Kara's angle, which is probably the only really good
yeah.
storyline. The only thing that really keeps me watching this series this season is the two of them, the dynamic between the two of them, and how they deal with it. And if you throw Lex in there, it's just like, okay, come on, man, now it's just too much, and it takes away from it.
Mm-hmm.
We don't really need that. It's not necessary.
Yeah, but so if in the trailer or there was some clip I saw, was it was the Monitor that recruited
Yes, it
Lex,
was a
right?
monitor. It
But
was
I
a monitor.
saw
He said we need genius level
so it
intellect
looks
such as
like
yourself,
Lex.
and then he goes, "Finally, time to be a
Right.
hero." Like I was like, "Oh, nice."
Yeah. So
This is
it looks like Lex is going to be. Well, I would imagine Lex is going to be selfish and help them because he doesn't
Well,
want
you know how
to
in the
die,
Marvel,
right?
in the old
So
Marvel comics, and I hate to bring Marvel as a comparison to this because I can't think of anything better. They were like the Infinity Gauntlet or the Beyonder type stories where you had all the good guys teaming up against some super power cosmic being, and then they would recruit like a Doom or Thanos or someone on that
right.
level who was very
Yeah.
intellectual, gifted, who could do what has to be done if need be to save the universe. But you never know; he might flip at the wrong moment because he might see a way where he's in power of the situation.
Mm-hmm.
I think introducing Lex, it might be something akin to that, where he's going to be used basically for his intellect and his strategy. And at some point, it's like he looks at it, well, I can actually usurp the monitor and become the monitor, and then so I wouldn't be surprised if they pull that angle.
Yeah. It reminds me of that second Fantastic Four movie, the Silver Surfer one, where they had to ask Dune to help
Oh,
out, and
why did you bring
he
that up?
betrayed
That was
them at
just
the end,
terrible.
right?
Because
Yeah,
because they
but I'm thinking it might
telegraphed
be
that
something
from the
similar. But
beginning. So it wasn't even like a twist. It was just like, we're taking so long.
right, right. I know. Oh well.
So some of the notes I made on this episode is I've realized they have now officially sidelined Jimmy because Jimmy Olsen because he's not adding
Yeah,
anything
I haven't.
to either
Mm-hmm.
Kara and Lena. He doesn't have anything specific other than his sister, but his sister's real story is with Alex, so that's not going anywhere. So it's like they're cutting back on some characters that before were interesting to just give us his fodder until Crisis next or this upcoming Sunday.
Yeah, I don't even see Jimmy in the cast list for Crisis. I don't think he's going to be there. His sister's on the cast list, but so Kelly Olsen is listed,
So
but no
obviously we're gonna
Jimmy.
still watch this even after Crisis, but this season has none of that ones.
Yeah. All right, let's. Shall we move on to Batwoman? Did you see Batwoman this week?
I did. I did two consecutive
Okay.
Batwoman episodes, man. Man, this is a streak for me.
Yeah, and it was actually pretty good. I thought it was a good episode in terms of the compared to the rest of the series
I
so
thought it was
far.
their best episode of the series so far.
Yeah. So just for a recap, so Alice is still on her mad spree. She's this in this
Her
episode.
vengeance
She's
spree. Yes, she's on a vengeance
yeah, her
mission.
vengeance.
Yes. Everyone who did her wrong since
So
that
in this
fateful
one,
accident. Except for Batman, the one guy who
yeah,
was actually directly responsible.
right. So she basically poisons Kate's stepmom and her stepsister because she feels that the stepmom is responsible for them stopping the search for her when she was a kid.
Well, hold on. I don't think she, and maybe I've misread that scene,
Mm,
but I don't think she knew that the daughter was going to ingest the poison. I think she had set up in the champagne for the mom to drink it, but then she realized that they shared the glass. So she goes, "Oh
Yeah.
my, really?
Yeah.
You both had the same?" So maybe she was playing at it to kind of like a ruse, but
Right.
my first impression was that she didn't realize that it was going to be the both of them drinking it. But then again, she did say the poison only works for one, so it's like, what would be the you know what would be the whole game if you didn't think that one of them would die and the other one would have to make the decision?
Yeah.
So
Um, yeah. So with the she did have the antidote though, right? So I don't know if the plan. I don't think the plan was to cure stepmom, Catherine, or it. That's why I think the plan was to poison both and say, "Here's the antidote for one."
make a Sophie's choice.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's basically what it came down to. So here's my issues with this episode. Although I think this was the better one, only because I think it was simple. They focused on basically four main characters on this, which was Kate, Alice, the mom,
Mm-hmm.
and the stepsister.
Right.
And like they kind of shredded some of the extra unnecessary stuff,
Yeah.
and you really focus on the plot based on these four's perspectives. So just to recap, the part that I didn't really like, and it's been an ongoing thing with this whole season, is Kate's sense of I'm going to redeem Alice, turn her back to Beth. And I'm like, you had no connection with this person since that accident. And somehow, despite every evidence to the contrary, you feel like she could be redeemed. It's like you
Yeah.
never knew Vader as Anakin Skywalker, but you feel like there's some goodness in him and you can redeem him. Right before the lightsaber comes right down your gut, you think you have a chance of redeeming him.
Yeah.
That's why to me I'm like, why is she fighting so hard for Alice,
Yeah.
despite the fact that she's killed people,
Oh, exactly.
cold-blooded killed
And it's not like
people.
Kate's got the force to detect. I can sense.
Yes.
There's none of
She told her, she's like, stop trying to change. She said it to her so
that.
many times.
Yeah.
The only thing that would make me even pause was when she knew that Kate was in danger with that bullet, the bat suit piercing bullet, and that she stopped the assassin from using that armor, the armor piercing bullet.
Right.
That
Right.
was the only thing, and I think even that was because she had an ultimate plan, and she didn't want Kate to die at that moment. But everything else leads to believe she's evil. She can't be redeemed. She's killed. She's killed again, and now she's killed your stepmom.
Yeah.
So now you finally feel like, and she got your father arrested,
Right. That's right.
incriminated
Well,
him.
she had what's his face pretending to be him for a while, and they figured that out. Thank goodness, right?
hmm Now here's the other thing I have with this show. Like you just said it, they figured it out. You know who should have been involved in many of these? The her ex girlfriend, the black girl, I forgot her name. Like
Yeah.
everything about that character.
So
What's her name?
Sophie.
Sophie.
Yeah.
Everything about that
Sophie.
character shows to
Yeah.
me that she's always like sharp and pick up things about, oh, you're actually Batwoman.
Yeah.
Oh, this person's actually this and so and so. But she gets
Yeah.
handcuffed to subplots with her and her husband, like trying to figure out whether she still loves him. And I'm like,
I know. I found that part annoying. Like that whole, what's going on with us?
she seems to be the
So
most logical detective type person in the show. Yet she's always getting caught up in
yeah.
her love romance situations, and she's like useless to like helping out Kate or anyone. Kate would have figured this. I mean, what's her name? Sophie would have figured this
Are you there?
whole plot
Oh,
out from Alice if she wasn't too busy with the husband thing.
right. Yeah. Oh, I guess they got to show these guys have more of a life than just
Yeah.
whatever, right?
So yeah, that's my take on Batwoman. A mad tea party.
Yeah. So overall, yeah, I'm with you. This was
hmm
probably the best episode yet. So I'm hoping it gets better. After Crisis, I don't know how much involvement. So, did you see the clip where Kevin Conroy comes down in the bat suit and Kane goes, Bruce? She knows who it is.
That was part of the trailer.
Yeah.
Yes, that's part of the
So
Crisis
that was
trailer.
pretty cool. So
So he's walking down a mechanized. He's walking down in a mechanized suit,
yeah.
a la Dark Knight Returns or something like that.
So I guess that answers the question. I was wondering if he was part of that Earth or a different Earth. So I guess he's part of that Earth, right? If
Yes.
unless it's a doppelganger, but I don't think it
That
was.
would be dumb. That would be
Yeah,
ridiculous if they did that.
exactly. So
I
he's an
like to
older
think that
Batman. Yeah.
he is the Batman of the Arrowverse.
Right.
Obviously much aged, and he's not at his peak. Maybe that's why he's been gone for 5 years.
Yeah, that would make sense though. That would be a
Which would
good
be nice
explanation.
because if he
Yeah.
officially passes the mantle to her, then you
Hmm.
got a real show that you can actually move forward with just her and just get some better writers to keep people interested.
Yeah, and hopefully she's not doing those monologues to him anymore in the beginning, right? They can stop with that too. So that's our Batwoman recap. Let's move on to the Flash.
All right, a lot to unpack in this episode, and not
Yeah,
all of
so
it's good.
Flash was a continuation of last week's Last Temptation of Barry
Yeah,
Allen.
this was a part two, an official part two.
Yep, and so this time we still have Bloodwork and Flash trying to work together, but Flash is actually not working with him and manages to break free of his control, and they have to fight all the zombies that Bloodworks created. I think that's the gist
Yeah,
of it,
it
right?
like I watched this one with my son, and he kept telling me this was like a cross between The Walking Dead and like what else did he say it was?
Yeah,
Game of Thrones, White Walkers.
right, yeah. So, and with a mix of what was the Venom? There was a Venom remark or something.
Venom turned Carnage. Yeah, he was on fire with some of his assessments. But you know what? It just shows
Yeah.
you that
Mm.
even if you're marketing like this, ultimately to like kids and preteens, not necessarily adults, um, you're missing the mark. Like the CGI was not one of their best
Yeah.
CGI. The fact that someone 11-year-old can look at this
No.
episode and say like, okay, what are they doing? Why does it look like Venom now is turning into Carnage? And every cheesy line he says,
You're right.
even up until when he's finally caught, was just like villains 101 lines that you haven't heard since yesteryear. It's like they're not really trying to do good by this particular villain. Now, unlike Supergirl, I think this Flash's season has been, pretty, a little bit above mediocre. It's been good because I think some of the acting, some of the character development, like Caitlin and Barry, and obviously, has been pretty good. It's just the situation that they've been putting in with the villain that's been
Yeah.
terrible, in my opinion. So
Yeah, I actually enjoyed the one-on-one subplots each week where he's trying to say goodbye,
yes, and I love
to
one of my
each of the
favorite moments
characters.
was when Cisco and Iris had like that tete-a-tete when she was trying to tell him that she's going to go and try to flip him back to the good side from and then he was like, "No, he's done. He's been telling you he's gone. Barry's been gone for a while now." And
Yeah.
you see the actor playing
Yeah.
Cisco, his eyes get watery, and then you look back, and then the camera does a perfect
Yeah.
perfect cut to her face. She's got the teary eye too. And I'm like, this is great. This is. I mean, that's all we need to see was just the emotional impact of these characters and what it meant, what Barry means to them, and what would happen if he no longer existed in his universe. Then he give us freaking
Yeah.
Venom, and I'm like, oh, guys, you guys were doing so well, and then go back to this
I
freaking
know.
dude.
They didn't actually, so he wasn't resolved either. He's still around, right?
He's still around. They trapped in one of those
Yeah.
cells, and he was still monologuing himself. I will be the savior of Steeds. You will know. Then everybody will
Yeah.
live and be happy. I'm like, man, fade to black, please. Roll credits.
Exactly. I did like I like when Caitlin and Killer Frost go at it and try and figure out who's supposed to
Yeah,
be doing what.
I told you in the previous podcast. I think that storyline, other than Barry's own crisis reflection, has been the best. I think it's better. It's been better than the Elongated Man. It's been better than anything that has Papa West on it
Hmm.
because I think that's been terrible. I don't want to see Cecile anymore. I don't want to see her as Cisco's girlfriend
Yeah.
running away from zombies and like the
Right.
movie Quiet Place. That's what okay. My son said Quiet Place meets The Walking Dead. That, I don't want to
Oh,
see any of that.
nice.
Give me more
Yeah.
Caitlyn and her alter ego, and I'll be happy because they've done
Hmm.
justice by her character finally, and the fact that it's not like a Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, but it's something where it's like two personalities sharing a body that are kind of reconciled after like seasons of being at each other's throats. And when that one power move that she did was pretty cool too.
Yeah.
Um, she did like the frost like spread shattered thing, and there's like a bunch of those walkers were around walkers. Sorry, a bunch of those
Ah.
blood work things were around her, and she did this little freeze thing with her like her hands, and it's spread in all directions, 360. That was a pretty cool power move.
Right, right, yeah,
So,
yeah,
did you realize I kind of saw it coming? I argued with my son when Barry told Iris when he was still under quote unquote blood work. He said, "Trust me, Iris," because he was doing the phasing hand like he's about to kill her, and he stopped.
yeah,
He goes, "It's not time yet," and he goes, "Trust
mm,
me, Iris." It disappears. I'm like, that's not something that Ramsey,
yeah.
that guy, would say.
A bad
So
guy
I
would
think
say,
that
yeah,
that's Barry still
right.
in there fighting it, and I was proven right.
Yeah, that kind of gave it away. So, like, I didn't expect him to go bad. Like, obviously, we know he's gonna be
Yeah,
good, and then Crisis, and then whatever, right? So, I just don't know. You don't know how he's gonna come
no,
out of it.
but
That's the whole thing.
again, it was still good seeing Cisco in this episode and Caitlin. I think Cisco, him talking to Iris and trying to persuade her from not going back to Barry and saying, "Listen, he's gone, and even if he's not gone now, he's gone in 4 hours. Like we need to make peace with it. We need to learn how to move on." And I'm like,
Right.
"Yeah, we do." And I'm
Yeah.
glad that they're accepting it and they're showing you that these characters are still hurt by it, but they're willing to move forward.
Hmm. Yeah. So overall, pretty decent episode. I mean, minus the zombies.
Yeah, if it wasn't for zombies, I'd give it a higher grade, but I'd go like a B plus at the moment.
Yeah, I think so. Okay, that brings us to Arrow.
Oh boy.
I'll let you take the reins on this one.
Oh man. So last week we were talking about how much we've loved this season so far. It's been half trip down memory lane, half precursor to Crisis, and they've been doing a beautiful ballet of Dancing with the Two. And we were kind of like guessing, well, what's left because there's only technically like 4 episodes as of last week. It would be the one that just came out this
Right.
week. It'd be
Yep.
Crisis, and then there'd be like a spinoff, like a backdoor spinoff episode, and then it'll be the finale. Where else could they go? And then we saw the trailer that was kind of hinting that was be back in Lee and You, which means purgatory, but we weren't sure what exactly would they show, for that
Hmm.
episode. And boy, were we giving it all! Like it opened up with the fact that they just came out of the dream from the monitor. They were able to finish the Groundhog Day sequence, and
Right.
then they show you Roy, Diggle, Black Canary, not Black Canary. What's her name? The lieutenant. They're all
Oh yes. The canary.
Canary, just Canary, yeah, Canary
Yeah.
and Wild Dog
Hmm.
flying into the cavalry, and then and then a poor CGI bazooka comes, crashing into the plane. So they crash land, and you think like, okay, obviously they're alive
Roy
because
was with
because
them,
because
right?
you need them. It was Wild Dog, Diggle, Canary, and Roy. So you're
Yeah. Right.
thinking
Yeah.
this can't be the end of these four. They got to do like some massive superhero showdown at least in this episode.
Right.
But when they
Hmm.
show you the crash site, you realize, oh, this is some serious stuff. And of course, when I saw Wild Dog's face, I'm thinking, oh man, I remember the future version of him in 2040. He's got some weird looking scar on one side of his face. So this is like destiny being fulfilled somewhat with his character.
Yeah.
But I
Yeah.
was not ready to see the fact that Roy was he was in critical condition.
Yep.
His right arm was pinned under the wreckage, and a field decision had to be made between Diggle and his son on what to do with his arm. And they made the decision in order to save his life, they had to cut the arm. And I watched this with my son in real time, and I was like, it's a CW show. I mean, where is it really gonna go? Then they show you the
Right.
scene of Diggle clasping Roy's left hand, and then the blade coming down, and then
Yeah.
the camera pans to the sky. You're like, oh wow, this show just
Uh
got
huh.
really real and adult really quick. And my
Yep.
son
Did
was
they?
like, "Did they what?"
Oh, I was going to ask. Do you remember when William went in? Not in this time, but in the future, when William went to the island
He had
and
two
saw
arms.
Roy. Did
He had two
he
arms.
did have? Okay, that's what I
Yes.
was going to ask
I
you. Yeah.
looked. I looked after that too. I was like, "Oh man, everything's been
Mhm.
fulfilled." Then I realized, wait a minute, he had two arms, and unless he had a prosthetic arm, which I would have been
I
weird.
don't know.
But
Yeah.
yeah. So from that moment on, you still have Oliver dealing with his two kids because he decided to have them stay behind while Black Canary figure out what's happening, and then of course comes the moment where his daughter Mia is like, "I don't want you to leave. You're so willing to die already. You know what's wrong with you?" And he leaves the base
Yeah.
camp, and who does he bump into? Talk about season one, the from the final scene in season one, the
hmm
original Hood,
Yep. Mr.
um,
Yao Fei.
Yao Feng. And I love the fact that that character stayed within the actor. Obviously, had to pull back his original acting influences for the character. So it was nice to see that he was still kind of like the grizzled yet wise master talking to Oliver. And I was like, I've changed since then. I'm not the same person. He goes, yeah, you still are. You're still impatient. You're still not, you know. And then meanwhile, he was able to get him out that trap while remaining patient, unlike Oliver, who was using like this little Swiss Army knife trying to cut through.
Yeah. That was their Return of the Jedi moment. They were caught in the net, and
Yeah,
R2 was trying to cut them out. Yeah.
exactly. So that was great. The fact that they had him as well as the original island. I don't remember the military bandits that were on the island in the first season that was chasing Oliver, and Oliver was able to not only evade but he actually killed those guys. So then I realized, oh, so every one of these folks are manifestations of the people he killed on the island. They'll all come
Yeah, you're
back.
talking about fires and yeah, and his goons.
Yeah, they've all come back to be some sort of like a message for Oliver before the crisis. And I think again the monitor is at work. What I didn't like
Yeah.
though was the whole story plot about getting the weapon that they've been building so that they can then like solve or figure out a way to solve the crisis. Only for it
Right.
to the big twist was it wasn't really meant for Oliver. It was meant for Lila.
Lila. Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, why would we have like created this little hint at something for this long and then not me anything other than Lila, who for those of us who are huge into DC Comics, Lila's character from like season two, whenever she first came, her name matched the Harbinger in DC Comics. So
hmm
when Crisis came around, there was theories already saying, "Oh, she's a harbinger that the Monitor is going to use and need." So
Right.
that to me was like, okay, all right, you finally showed your hand about her character, great, but you didn't need to go through this
hmm
whole spectacle of creating these little obstacles and missions for Oliver to get what he needed, only to come to the moment where and he realizes it's not really for him, it's for Lila. And then seeing
Yeah.
John's face, like, were you always in league with him? Like he was questioning her loyalty.
Right. Yeah.
That was kind of tough. But other than that, I think this was a phenomenal episode. My favorite thus far this season. I think they hit the nostalgic moments pretty well. Oh, how about the scene with when he basically he's kind of saying goodbye to everyone, scene by scene, and when he gets to Diggle, dude, I've been waiting
Yeah.
for that. I was like, he
I
basically said
know.
goodbye to everybody in previous seasons. Thea, Bradford, dude, so forth and so forth.
Right.
Even
Uh-huh.
even what's his name, the former police commissioner, Quincy.
Yeah. The uh, Papa
Yeah,
Papa Lance.
yeah.
Yeah.
So Papa left. So when he finally came to the guy who was there, his ride or die from the very first episode as his quote unquote security guard, his mom hired when he got back from the island,
yeah.
and he was like,
hmm
I'm not ready yet to see you go, but I know you gotta do what you gotta
Yeah.
do. And he goes, I'm your
Right.
ride or die to the end. He goes, yeah, man,
Yeah.
you've been the best guy that I've known. He goes, you mean and the best man? He goes, yeah, that too. And I'm like, man, like that is great, man. It sounds cheesy me
uh,
repeating it, but in that moment watching it, it's so fucking awesome. It's like kudos, man.
yeah, I really like that too. Yeah, that was like pulled at the heartstrings, you know.
It did, and I think
Yeah.
it was perfectly timed to happen right at near the last moment of because we know they're probably not going to have a moment together like this again for the rest of the show. So it was perfectly timed. They had a little downtime before the crisis, before he spoke to
hmm
Mia. Um,
Yeah.
so that was very good. Like man, I'm telling
Yeah.
you, this reminds me of Breaking Bad season 5, where they're just
Okay. Yeah.
going high, high, high right before the last two final episodes.
Yeah. Exactly. I love it. I'm glad they're doing it that way.
So did you notice that each episode that we talked about tonight ended with the same scene of the Harrison Wells character? What's it called?
Yes,
Nash. Whatever it's
I was
called.
gonna bring, I was about
About to call him
just
Stephen
about to bring that
Nash.
up. That yeah, Nash. Yeah, so
Yeah.
Nash Wells had found the location for Monitor, his little cave
Mm-hmm.
on the ground
Mm-hmm.
where he was trapped. Him and Papa were trapped a couple episodes ago.
Mm-hmm.
Went trying to find it, and they were running out of air. So I forget what it was. There was something before he started touching the little rooms
Also, it's only
to
seen
get
in the
in.
Flash episode. So every other episode is basically the same
Yeah,
cutaway, but in Flash, they showed you
right.
prior to him touching that whatever that cosmic wall was, that he was also attacked by those zombie bloodwork guys. So when the
Yes,
cure was
yes.
released by the Flash team, it killed those zombie characters. But before that, he was talking to a being. Like he was talking to a being, and there's a being talking back to him through the wall,
Hmm.
saying "bow" or something like that. Genuflect to me, and he was like, "No, I've
Yeah.
traveled so many multiverses. I'm not gonna bow to you. You're gonna help me." And then then the
Right.
power went out, and I don't know if the power went out because of that the whole situation there, or because of what was happening with Bloodwork and the Flash team. That was confusing. I couldn't
Yeah,
figure.
I thought it was from Bloodwork. I just yeah,
Yeah.
can't be sure though.
So because even when he was fighting the zombie things, at the moment where the cure happened and they all died, he looked back at the wall thinking perhaps the wall was the reason why that they were killed and not whatever Team Flash was doing.
Right. Yeah. Well, yeah. How would he know? Right.
Yeah, because
He's
he's
been
been trapped
stuck.
in the
Yeah.
cave. So
Right.
so I thought that illuminated a lot more because the other episodes didn't show you any of that. It just showed you just the same cutaway when he starts hitting the freaking combination of symbols. And my son was telling
Yeah.
me, "Oh, some of these represent the characters. Like this is Arrow, this is Flash,
I
this is."
didn't even notice that.
And I'm like, "Yeah, he's reaching. Like this is Legends." I'm like, "Cause it's got like an X here and a square." So he
Yeah.
thinks that each one of those symbols represented a character from the CW universe. So
Okay, I'll take a look again, but I didn't see that in the first time I saw it. Right. So I don't know.
yeah.
Could be.
So of course he gets zapped into it, and then fade to black. Roll credits.
Yep. So the story is he becomes another character. I forget the character's name to help Monitor also
Okay.
to to fight the Anti Monitor. I was reading an article. Yeah.
So from my understanding of the comics, there's the Monitor, and then there's the Anti-Monitor.
Yeah.
So the Anti-Monitor is the true villain. He's the one behind all these multiverses being destroyed,
Right.
and the Monitor
Yeah.
is trying to stop it by recruiting the best of the best in Earths and all the
Exactly.
different
Yeah.
Earths. Right.
hmm
I
This
think
is.
I think it's supposed to be the same actor that's going to play the Anti-Monitor in Crisis.
Oh, is it? I saw a picture of
Yeah,
the Anti Monitor and the
he's just
makeup,
gonna have
but
some weird looking outfit.
Yeah, and his face is so Monitor looks more like a human, but this guy looks more like actually Thanos. Just
Thanos.
it's unfortunately it kind of looks like him, right? With the he's got like a
Dude,
purplish
somewhere
skin,
in
and
the
it's
deep
raisiny.
corners of super toxic nerd um, fandom, people who saw the trailer for DC Crisis, you know how they showed you the Earths who were like disappearing, and there's like a scene where Iris kind of like melts
Yeah,
away. They're like, "Man, Thanos
yeah,
did that in the snap! Oh my God, why is DC copying Marvel?" And I'm like,
yeah.
"Jesus, dude! Like, I'm like, block this website from ever reading this."
It's always going to be a fight between Marvel and DC fanboys, right? So and fangirls.
So yeah, that's my take. We're here, man. We
Mm-hmm.
made it.
We did starting Sunday. So the schedule for Crisis coming up starts on Sunday with Supergirl,
Hmm.
right on the 8th, and then on the 9th we have Batwoman. So it's not both the same night. Then the following night we have the Flash.
So Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, right?
Yeah,
The only difference is
and then we
Batwoman,
have
who's typically on Sunday, she gets moved to
mm,
Monday.
right, and then we have to wait till January for the the conclusion with Arrow, and then the season premiere of Legends of Tomorrow kicks right into Crisis episode 5.
Yeah.
So that should be good.
Yeah, it should be good. So I'm trying to think the latest news. I think we're all caught up with all the cameos. Who's going to be in? Who's not going to be in?
Yep.
I think it's been confirmed that Starbird or Starlight, forgot her name,
Stargirl.
Stargirl is definitely going to have a
Yeah.
cameo. Black Lightning's going to have a little bit
Yep.
more than cameo.
Yep.
Everyone else that we talked about in previous podcasts are going to be there. So I think
There was somebody I wanted to mention that I didn't know. The original Birds of
yes,
Prey
they did
Huntress
mention that.
is
Yeah,
going
I
to be
read that
there.
in the link that you
Yeah.
sent earlier to me today, which I
Mm-hmm.
didn't realize. That's good. Now people are
Yeah.
theorizing there might be one or two minor Easter egg or cameos of the larger DC film universe. That they've
That'd
been
be
working behind
interesting.
the scenes to get something small yet
Yeah.
very obvious from the DCFU.
So we're going to see Batfleck?
Batfleck or Gal Gadot's Wonder Woman or Zack Snyder
Hmm.
himself in the flesh.
Maybe. But you know what? Even if we see Cyborg, that'd be
Yeah,
fun. I'd be okay with that.
Aquaman.
Yeah.
That'd be good. I mean, I think this is
I
a
doubt
shot
we'll
in the
get.
arm that DC really needs. I know there's some DC fans and DC fanboys out there that are living and dying by what's on a big screen, and to a lesser extent
Yeah.
the streaming service and comics. But
Right. Mm-hmm.
this little small corner sector of DC on the TV shows, the CW, probably has done more to brand the DC name than
Mm-hmm.
anything else. So you know,
Yeah. You know what? When they had first announced who was going to play the Flash in the Justice League
hmm
movie, all I was reading online was, no, why isn't it Grant
yes, that
Gustin?
was
Why
me,
isn't
dude.
it
I was
Grant
one of those
Gustin?
guys. I was on Twitter saying the same thing.
The thing was, I hadn't started. I didn't start binging Flash at that time, so I was like, I don't care. Why does it matter to me? But I can see now why. Yeah, he would have been a good choice. Why not just bring him into you know,
It
onto
wasn't
the
even
big
that.
screen?
So there were some folks who were actually even saying they should have just also included the Arrow. Maybe he's not part of
That's what
the
I was thinking.
Justice
Yeah,
League, but just have him as one of the like the side characters to come in from the TV show onto the big
yeah,
screen.
yeah, exactly.
Ah man, that's a whole other podcast we need to have about where
I
did
know.
DC go wrong.
Yeah, and where they should go, how they can fix it. Right? We should do
Yeah, let's just
a
enjoy
show on
what they
that.
are giving us that we can accept for now and enjoy it.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to Sunday.
Absolutely. All right, so we're almost at the 50-minute mark. I think we've gone through all our shows and our thoughts. So maybe we should cut it here, and we can hand it back to Chris to do his magic, and then.
Good job by you,
Uh,
Mike.
Thanks. So next week we need to figure out. We don't have an exact schedule yet for you guys on what we're doing live and what we're gonna record.
But we
So as soon
definitely do our best to get one episode live. We're just not
Yeah,
sure
I
which
was
one.
thinking I would love to do the Flash live on Tuesday. So we'll have to figure it out, right?
Yeah, meanwhile, I'm thinking that first episode live would probably be better because it's the very first one.
That's true. Now, on Sunday night, I'm okay with that
Yeah,
if
maybe
you're
maybe
if you're available.
if the powers that be, we can probably publish it the very next day.
Yes, that would be good. All right, so yeah, we'll talk to our producers.
Big boss man.
That's right. All right, with that, I bid you adieu. Thank you, everyone, for listening. Don't forget to catch us on iTunes and Spotify. And then check out our Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. We're at Heroes Peak.
Please give us
So,
whatever feedback you can, constructive.
yeah.
Obviously, we would like 5 stars, and if not 5 stars, at least give us 5 stars anyway, and tell us what we can do to improve.
Absolutely. And with that, thanks for listening and have a great night. Thanks, James.
Yep.